What was Claressa Shields really trying to say? That's the question social media can't stop asking after the boxing champion made comments that instantly sent the internet into a frenzy. Because what started as a casual live stream quickly turned into one of the hottest celebrity debates online. And according to many fans, the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. While discussing her fighting background, Claressa made it clear that she wasn't afraid of anyone. She confidently reminded viewers that long before becoming one of boxing's biggest stars, she knew how to handle herself and wouldn't be intimidated by anyone trying to challenge her. Normally, comments like that wouldn't be a big deal. After all, confidence is part of being a champion. But this time was different. Because Claressa is already at the center of ongoing drama involving Pap and Remy Ma. And almost immediately, social media users began asking the same explosive question. Was that message directed at Remy? Or was the internet simply creating another controversy where none existed? The speculation spread like wildfire. Blogs picked it up. Commentators started analyzing every word. And fans began dissecting the live stream frame by frame looking for clues. Meanwhile, another problem was making matters worse. The long-promised boxing announcement that many followers were expecting still hadn't arrived, leaving critics questioning what was really happening behind the scenes. Now the internet is divided. Some believe Claressa was sending a clear warning. Others insist people are reading way too much into her comments. But one thing is certain. The drama surrounding Claressa Shields, Pap, and Remy Ma has entered a whole new phase. And trust me, the deeper you dig into this story, the more complicated it becomes. The moment Claressa Shields made those comments, social media did what it always does. It started connecting dots. Some real, some imagined, and some that may never be fully explained. Because according to many followers, the controversy surrounding Claressa, Pap, and Remy Ma has reached a point where almost every public statement is viewed through the lens of their ongoing drama. A simple comment is no longer just a comment. A live stream is no longer just a live stream. And a confident statement can instantly become a headline. That's exactly what happened here. During a recent live stream, Claressa spoke about her fighting background and made it clear she wasn't intimidated by anyone. She emphasized that before becoming a world champion boxer, she had experience handling herself and wasn't concerned about anyone attempting to challenge or confront her. For many people, those remarks sounded perfectly normal. After all, she's one of the most accomplished fighters in the world. Confidence comes with the territory. Elite athletes often speak with certainty. Especially athletes who have spent their entire careers proving doubters wrong. But others heard something different. They heard frustration. They heard emotion. And they heard what they believed might be a direct response to everything happening online. That's where Remy Ma entered the conversation. Almost immediately, fans began debating whether the comments were aimed at her. No names were mentioned. No direct accusations were made. Yet social media users quickly filled in the blanks themselves. And once that started, the speculation spread everywhere. Blogs picked it up. YouTube channels picked it up. Comment sections exploded. And suddenly everyone had a theory. Meanwhile, another issue was already creating pressure around Claressa. The much-discussed fight announcement. For months, supporters had been expecting major boxing news. Several times, hints were dropped. Several times, announcements were teased. And several times, fans believed something big was about to happen. According to critics online, those expectations repeatedly built up only for followers to be left waiting for official confirmation. That frustration created an interesting situation. Because instead of discussing championships and upcoming opponents, much of the public conversation shifted toward personal drama. And that's something many sports fans weren't happy about. They wanted boxing news. They wanted career updates. They wanted official fight information. Instead, social media kept returning to the same controversy. Pap, Remy, and Claressa. According to online commentators, that ongoing triangle has become one of the most talked about celebrity discussions across multiple platforms. Every new interview, appearance, or social media post immediately becomes part of a much larger narrative. What makes the situation even more interesting is how divided public opinion has become. Some people strongly support Claressa. They believe she's being unfairly criticized. They argue that much of the negativity directed toward her comes from assumptions rather than facts. Others see things differently. They believe certain timelines and public events raise legitimate questions. And they continue analyzing every detail looking for answers. As a result, neither side appears willing to back down. The debate keeps growing. The theories keep spreading. And every new development creates another wave of reactions. Meanwhile, Remy Ma remains a major part of the discussion. Recent public appearances, performances, and social media activity involving Remy have generated significant attention online. According to commentators, many followers view the contrast between Remy's public momentum and Claressa's ongoing controversy as one of the key reasons the debate remains so active. That contrast has fueled countless arguments. Some people believe the attention surrounding Remy is completely unrelated. Others believe everything is connected. And because nobody has all the answers, speculation continues filling the gaps. For now, one thing seems certain. This story has moved far beyond its original starting point. It's no longer simply about relationships. It's no longer simply about social media. And it's no longer simply about boxing. Instead, it has become a battle over perception. A battle over public image. And a battle over who controls the narrative. And according to many observers, the comments that sparked all this attention may have only added fuel to an already raging fire. Because when emotions are high, reputations are involved, and millions of people are watching, even a few words can create a storm. And right now, that storm shows no signs of slowing down. As the online debate continued growing, many people began asking a different question. Why has this story become so much bigger than the original issue? Because according to social media observers, what started as relationship gossip has now evolved into a full-scale battle over public image. And that's where things get complicated. For months, discussions surrounding Claressa Shields haven't been limited to boxing. Instead, conversations have repeatedly shifted toward her personal life, her connection to Pap, and her ongoing tension with Remy Ma's supporters. Every interview becomes a talking point. Every social media post becomes evidence. And every public appearance becomes another chapter in a story that refuses to disappear. According to commentators following the situation, the internet has become obsessed with creating timelines. Followers continue comparing old interviews, public appearances, and social media activity in an effort to understand exactly when certain relationships began and how events unfolded behind the scenes. That detective work has become a major part of the controversy. Because in today's social media world, people rarely accept simple explanations. Instead, they search for clues. They compare screenshots. They revisit old videos. And they try to uncover details they believe others may have missed. Meanwhile, critics continue questioning Claressa's public messaging. According to online discussions, some followers believe she has attempted to portray herself as unfairly targeted throughout the controversy. Others argue that the situation is far more complicated than either side wants to admit. That disagreement has created two very different narratives. One side sees Claressa as someone defending herself against non-stop criticism. The other sees her as someone who helped create the controversy now surrounding her. Neither side appears willing to change its position. And because emotions remain high, every new development only deepens the divide. At the same time, another factor continues driving attention. Remy Ma's visibility. Recent appearances, performances, and public events involving Remy have generated significant online engagement. According to commentators, many social media users view her recent success and public appearances as an important backdrop to the ongoing debate. That perception has fueled even more speculation. Because some critics believe Claressa becomes especially frustrated whenever attention shifts toward Remy. Supporters strongly reject that claim. They argue that people are projecting motives onto situations without evidence. And they insist that much of the criticism directed toward Claressa is unfair. Still, the theory continues spreading. Meanwhile, boxing fans have their own frustrations. Many expected recent conversations to focus on Claressa's career, potential opponents, upcoming fights, and future championships. Instead, the headlines often return to personal drama. According to critics online, repeated promises about major announcements have created growing skepticism among followers who now wait for official confirmation before getting excited. That skepticism has become another challenge. Because every time expectations are raised without immediate news, frustration grows. And frustration creates criticism. Meanwhile, social media keeps feeding the cycle. One rumor creates another rumor. One reaction creates another reaction. And before long, the original topic gets buried beneath endless speculation. What makes this situation especially interesting is how much of the conversation now revolves around perception rather than facts. People aren't just debating what happened. They are debating what they think happened. And those are two very different things. According to observers, that's why the controversy continues expanding. Because everyone seems convinced they have the missing piece of the puzzle. Everyone believes they've identified the real story. And everyone has a different theory about what comes next. For Claressa, that means every public statement faces intense scrutiny. Every live stream gets analyzed. Every interview gets dissected. And every comment becomes part of a much larger narrative. Whether that's fair or unfair depends on who you ask. But one thing is certain. The spotlight isn't going away anytime soon. And according to many followers, the biggest confrontation in this story may not involve boxing at all. It may involve reputation, public perception, and the battle to control a narrative that seems to grow larger with every passing day. As the feud continued dominating social media, a new question began appearing everywhere. If Claressa's comments weren't aimed at Remy Ma, then who were they aimed at? That question quickly became the center of the entire debate. Because according to many online observers, the timing of the remarks felt impossible to ignore. The controversy involving Pap and Remy was already trending. Comment sections were already filled with arguments. And social media users were already dissecting every public appearance connected to the story. Then came Claressa's comments about being a street fighter and not being intimidated by anyone. Almost immediately, followers began speculating about who she might have been addressing, even though no individual was specifically named. That uncertainty created the perfect environment for rumors. And social media thrives on uncertainty. The less information people have, the more theories they create. The more theories they create, the bigger the story becomes. Meanwhile, critics continued pointing to what they believe is a larger pattern. According to online discussions, some observers feel that whenever attention shifts toward Remy Ma, new controversy involving Claressa quickly follows. Supporters strongly dispute that interpretation, arguing that people are connecting unrelated events simply because they fit an existing narrative. That disagreement sits at the heart of the entire situation. Because once people decide what story they believe, every new event becomes evidence supporting that belief. Supporters see confidence. Critics see frustration. Supporters see strength. Critics see insecurity. And because perception drives social media, both interpretations continue spreading at the same time. Meanwhile, another issue continues attracting attention. Pap himself. According to many commentators, one of the biggest questions surrounding the controversy is why so much of the public discussion focuses on Claressa and Remy while Pap often remains in the background. Critics argue that much of the frustration appears directed at the women involved rather than the man at the center of the relationship controversy. That observation has generated significant debate. Because depending on who you ask, responsibility is being distributed very differently. Some people blame Claressa. Some blame Pap. Some blame everyone involved. And others believe the internet has exaggerated the entire situation beyond recognition. As a result, the controversy continues expanding in multiple directions. At the same time, social media users remain obsessed with timelines. Old interviews are being revisited. Past appearances are being re-examined. And public statements from years ago are suddenly becoming relevant again. According to observers, every new detail sends followers back into detective mode as they search for clues that support their preferred version of events. That process has become almost endless. One clip leads to another clip. One screenshot leads to another screenshot. And one theory leads to 10 more theories. Meanwhile, Claressa's supporters continue arguing that none of this changes one important fact. She remains one of the most accomplished athletes in boxing history. Multiple championships, historic achievements, and a career that most fighters could only dream about. They believe her accomplishments deserve far more attention than online drama. Critics counter that public image matters, especially when personal relationships become public controversies. And because social media never separates personal life from professional life, they argue the discussion is unavoidable. That tension has created an environment where everything becomes connected. Boxing news becomes relationship news. Relationship news becomes social media news. And social media news becomes entertainment news. Before long, nobody remembers where the story actually started. They only remember the latest argument, the latest rumor, and the latest headline. For now, one thing remains certain. The comments continue generating reactions. The speculation continues growing. And neither side appears ready to move on. Because according to many observers, this story has evolved far beyond a simple disagreement. It has become a battle over reputation. A battle over public opinion. And a battle over who gets to tell the story. And in the age of social media, that may be the most important fight of all. As the online controversy continued growing, many observers began noticing something unusual. The conversation was no longer centered on facts. It was centered on perception. And in today's social media world, perception can be just as powerful as reality. Because according to many commentators, the debate surrounding Claressa Shields, Remy Ma, and Pap has evolved into something much larger than a personal dispute. It's become a battle over image. A battle over public sympathy. And perhaps most importantly, a battle over who controls the narrative. Meanwhile, social media users continued revisiting old clips, interviews, and public statements. According to online observers, every new development sends followers back through previous timelines looking for details that may support their preferred interpretation of events. That process has become non-stop. One video sparks another debate. One interview creates another theory. And one social media post generates thousands of reactions. As a result, the controversy never really disappears. It simply changes shape. Meanwhile, critics have continued focusing on Claressa's recent comments and public behavior. Some believe her statements reveal growing frustration with the way public opinion has shifted. Others argue that people are unfairly projecting emotions onto comments that were never intended to carry hidden meanings. That disagreement remains one of the biggest reasons the story continues trending. Because nobody can agree on what they are actually seeing. Supporters see confidence. Critics see defensiveness. Supporters see a champion standing her ground. Critics see someone reacting to pressure. And because both sides view the situation differently, every new development becomes another reason to argue. At the same time, Remy Ma's public appearances have continued attracting attention. According to commentators, recent performances, business ventures, and high-profile appearances have generated positive reactions from many fans. That visibility has only intensified comparisons between the two women across social media platforms. Those comparisons have become impossible to avoid. Every accomplishment is measured against another accomplishment. Every appearance is compared to another appearance. And every headline is viewed through the lens of the ongoing rivalry narrative. Whether that rivalry actually exists is another question entirely. But perception often matters more than reality online. Meanwhile, another issue continues fueling discussion. The question of accountability. According to many social media users, conversations surrounding the controversy frequently focus on Claressa and Remy while spending far less time discussing Pap's role in the situation. Critics argue that this imbalance has become one of the most noticeable aspects of the debate. That observation has generated strong reactions. Some people agree completely. Others reject the argument. But nearly everyone acknowledges that the conversation has become increasingly emotional. And emotional conversations rarely stay rational for long. As the weeks pass, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. This story is no longer about one comment. It's no longer about one live stream. And it's no longer about one social media post. Instead, it has become a symbol of something larger. A symbol of how quickly online narratives form. How quickly public opinion shifts. And how difficult it becomes to change perceptions once people have made up their minds. For Claressa, that reality creates a difficult challenge. Because no matter what she says next, people will interpret it through the controversy. If she speaks out, critics will analyze every word. If she stays silent, critics will analyze the silence. And according to many observers, that's exactly why this story refuses to fade away. The drama keeps evolving. The speculation keeps growing. And the internet keeps searching for answers. Whether those answers ever arrive remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The battle is no longer happening inside a boxing ring. It's happening in public opinion. And right now, that may be the toughest fight of all. As the controversy surrounding Claressa Shields, Remy Ma, and Pap continues dominating social media, many observers believe the story has finally reached a turning point. Not because new evidence emerged. Not because someone revealed a shocking secret. But because the public conversation itself has started changing. For months, people have been focused on accusations, timelines, rumors, and non-stop speculation. But according to many commentators, the discussion is now shifting towards something else. Consequences. Because regardless of who people support, one reality has become impossible to ignore. The controversy has affected everyone's public image. Every interview is scrutinized. Every appearance is analyzed. And every social media post instantly becomes part of a larger narrative. According to online observers, what could have remained a private disagreement has evolved into one of the most talked about celebrity feuds on social media. That transformation has created challenges for everyone involved. For Claressa, critics argue that conversations about her achievements are often being overshadowed by discussions about personal drama. For Remy Ma, supporters believe she has been forced to repeatedly address questions connected to a situation many feel should have remained private. And for fans, the controversy has become increasingly exhausting. Because every new development creates another round of arguments, another round of theories, and another round of people choosing sides. Meanwhile, boxing supporters continue expressing frustration. Many believe Claressa's accomplishments deserve far more attention than online drama. After all, she remains one of the most successful fighters of her generation. A champion, a trailblazer, and an athlete who has accomplished things few people ever will. Yet according to critics, personal controversy has repeatedly pulled attention away from those achievements. That tension remains central to the story. Because while sports fans want boxing headlines, social media often wants drama. And drama almost always wins. At the same time, many observers believe the situation highlights a larger issue: the power of public perception. Because once a narrative takes hold online, changing it becomes incredibly difficult. People remember screenshots. People remember clips. People remember rumors. And according to commentators, those memories continue shaping public opinion long after the original events have passed. That reality explains why the controversy refuses to disappear. Every new post revives old arguments. Every appearance reignites old debates. And every comment creates fresh speculation. Meanwhile, one question continues appearing across social media. Was Claressa's message really directed at Remy Ma? Despite endless discussion, nobody has produced a definitive answer. The comments remain open to interpretation. Supporters insist they were general statements from a confident fighter. Critics believe the timing suggests something more. And because neither side can prove its position, the debate continues. For now, the internet remains divided. One side sees a champion defending herself. The other sees someone reacting to pressure. One side sees confidence. The other sees frustration. And somewhere in the middle sits the truth. A truth that may never be fully known. Because in today's social media environment, perception often moves faster than facts. And once public opinion forms, it becomes incredibly difficult to change. What do you think? Were Claressa Shields' comments simply the words of a confident champion? Or do you believe they were directed at Remy Ma? Who do you think has handled this controversy better? And do you believe the drama has unfairly overshadowed Claressa's boxing achievements? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more celebrity news, sports drama, entertainment updates, and social media breakdowns. Thanks for watching. Stay informed, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.